Hey guys, No Name Trapper with you here for another video. This one is if you were deciding to go after an animal that's foreign to you. Okay, let's say you haven't caught your first bobcat or your first otter yet, and that animal seems foreign to you. It can be a little intimidating, especially if you're a newer trapper or you haven't targeted a lot of species. And so it can be a hint overwhelming or mind-blowing. And what this video about today is we're going to take that, we're going to simplify it. We're going to make it so you can target that animal, understand that animal a little bit, and just put pen to paper and get the darn thing caught. So anyways, let's get started on this one. Alright guys, first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the animal. Okay, whatever that critter is, that's going to be the center of your focus. Okay, and then we're going to target what does that animal need, right? What does that animal need to survive? What are the basics? So let's go ahead and take a look at those real quick. And for this example, we're going to use a bobcat. Though no matter what the animal is, the instincts, not the instincts, but the needs are the same or similar. So let's take a look at that. Alright guys, so here's our animal right there in the center. Bobcat we're going to use for this example. We got food and water up at the top, off the sides, shelter, bottom left, and breeding and territorial instincts in the bottom right. Now these are about the necessities for almost any animal that we target in trapping. So no matter what animal you put in the center of that box, we can simplify that animal based on those four things. Now, the reason breeding and territorial has been added to it. Alright, so let's say it's breeding season for whatever this animal is, and you're trying to target them with food. Well, let's say they're not very hungry. They're focused on breeding. That's going to make your job a little tougher. So that's why it is a category. And territorial instinct, you know, that, like coyotes, I believe Dale Billingsley and I were talking the other day, and he said, you know, on average, a coyote urinates, I think it was every 160 yards. Okay, so that's a territorial instinct. So this animal, this is what you're going to use to determine how to trap this animal. Now before I take you guys too far into this, you need to do some research on these aspects. For instance, food. Let's say bobcat. Let's go rabbit, turkey, fish. Okay, look up some common foods that animal that you're going to go after eats. Water, I mean, that's a pretty common concept. They need to drink water. Shelter, where does that animal take shelter? Does it live in a brush pile? Does it live in dens and trees? Does it live, you know, look up and research where that home base is going to be. And then also study the breeding and territorial season, or the breeding seasons, I mean. Do your research. If they breed for 2 months of the year, well then, boom, that's when that's kind of set. You need to be focused on is either a blind set or you know, a piss post set or something like that, or, you know, use some gland lure. That's what you need to focus on during the breeding seasons. Okay, but the rest of the time you can focus on just their habitat and what they eat and where their water is. Alright guys, here's the scenario. Now in this scenario we're going to say it's not breeding season. You see up in the upper left hand corner, that's home base. Let's say that's where the den's at, and there's timber on each side there. Then you got a brush pile off to the right. Down below you got a river. Alright, so this is home base right here. Typically when that cat leaves, he or she's going to be looking for food or water, since it's not breeding season, though they do breed quite often. Okay, so now all you got to do is figure out the travel routes to these locations from home base. That simplifies it. You know where home base is. You know these animals need food and water. You know in this scenario they're not breeding at the moment. Okay, so now all you got to do is find the travel ways. They may come down here the river. They may go back up in the woods and then come around, follow the river. They may cross a river several times. They may go from the home base over the brush pile and around that corner there. That'd be a good spot, going down the river from the brush pile. Bet you there'd be a trail there, at least here in Iowa. So these are some scenarios you can think about with any animal. And I know this ain't as fun as being out there and looking at them in real life. Okay, but this is the best way I can think to show you an overview and simplify these animals. Alright guys, there you have it. There's the basic layout. Do not be intimidated by an animal you haven't trapped before. Don't build it up to be something it's not. It's just an animal. Alright? And I think if you hone in on the instincts of these animals and what they need, it'll simplify it for you a little bit. You know, a lot of these professional big name trappers, you know, they were intimidated at some point by trapping a new animal or doing a new style set or whatever, you know. But you just got to jump past that, get into it, and have some fun. I mean, once you do the research on the animals and you find their basic characteristics and, you know, habits and so forth, it's pretty easy to hone in on them from there on. So don't build it up to be something it's not. Do your preseason research and go after them. These animals aren't foreign, they're just an animal. Just because you ain't tinkered with them doesn't mean that they've changed what they've been doing all these years. So I know this is a short video. I hope to God this helps somebody out, especially if you haven't targeted something. I know a lot of guys just haven't caught their first otter, haven't caught their first cat. You ain't going to catch it if you build it up to be something that's not. You just got to hone in on that animal, think like that animal, and you'll get that animal. So anyways, guys, I appreciate you watching. I know this is just another simple video. Trapping season's getting closer. Tight chains.